Hey, it's Nathan with CrazyMarketing.com. In this video, we're going to do a full ActiveCampaign tutorial where I take you from beginner to basically intermediate, where you'll feel comfortable using ActiveCampaign and you'll be able to send automated messages to your subscribers. And so we have a lot to cover in this video. Now, a few of the topics, we're going to do the overview of ActiveCampaign. We're going to go through some initial settings, the lists, managing contacts, forms, templates, and then get into the automation. So without further ado, let's go to ActiveCampaign.com. So you can come here and of course check out the website, but one thing that I wanted to point out to you is the different packages that they have, because this can be a little confusing and overwhelming if you don't know what you're looking for. So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about these different options so you can decide what is best for you and your business. Now, if you're doing email marketing, the marketing option would probably be the one that you want. And so they have several options available, like the Lite, Plus, Professional, Enterprise. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, I would recommend starting on the Lite plan, as you can always upgrade later on, like if it doesn't have enough features or anything like that. But the Lite plan is a great place to start if you're getting into email marketing. Now, the sales package is a CRM and sales engagement platform. So this has more to do with pipelines and deals and lead flow, and it doesn't really deal with email marketing. So if you're managing like a client database and you're manually calling people and following up with people, then the sales option might be for you. Again, it doesn't include the email marketing automation piece though. And so that's the sales option. And then of course we have bundles right here. So this is a combination of both the marketing, so your email marketing plus your sales and CRM solution. And typically I recommend going with the Plus option unless you know why you need any more. And so if you want both of those options, the Plus plan is probably the best place to start, as you can always upgrade later on. And then the transactional email option is for API and stuff like that, which is beyond the scope of this particular video, but I just wanted to show you the different packages that are available because it kind of confused me at first. I was like, wait, I'm trying to sell stuff through email marketing, so sales kind of sounds like it might work, but this is more for manual lead follow-up than email automations and email marketing and all that type of stuff. So anyway, just wanted to point those out to you real quick. Now we can go ahead and sign up. ActiveCampaign does offer a free 2-week trial, and I have a link in the description below this video. If you go through that link, I'll earn a little commission and I'll appreciate it. But if you don't want to go through that link, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and enter my name and phone number information, and I'm going to answer these questions real quick. And now I need to go ahead and confirm my email address. And so just like that, I am inside of my ActiveCampaign account. Now, one thing I recommend doing is going ahead and bookmarking this page right here, so that way you'll be able to access your account easily, as this domain right here is unique to you. And speaking of the domain, this first part right here in front of the .activehosted, so mine is this crazy eye. Well, that is my ActiveCampaign username. So sometimes ActiveCampaign will generate something really crazy and random, and it might be hard to memorize, so you might want to write it down somewhere so you can keep track of it. But thankfully, mine is nice and simple. It's this crazyeye.activehosted.com, and I could probably remember that. But still, I recommend bookmarking this page just so you have it, as it'll make accessing your account in the future even easier. But anyway, this is the account dashboard, and it's pretty, self-explanatory. So on the left-hand side is our main menu. We have contacts, campaigns, automations, deals, website reports, and then unlock features, so you can go ahead and upgrade your plan. And then we have apps and settings, and then your personal profile right here, where you could go ahead and update your billing information and all that type of stuff. And we're going to go through several of these different options as we go through this video. Let's come back over to my document. And so we want to make sure that we set up some of these initial settings so that way we can start sending email. So I want to make sure that I have a physical address, sending domain, a custom domain, and website tracking installed. So let's come back over here and get this set up. So I'm going to come down to settings, and the first place I'm going to go ahead and start is on addresses here. So you need to add a physical address in order to send emails from ActiveCampaign. It is a legal requirement that you include a physical address on your emails in order to supposedly cut down on spam. Now, whether that works or not is open to interpretation, but we're going to follow the law, or at least I am, because I don't want to go to jail. So I'm going to go ahead and add a physical address right here. And self-explanatory, just go ahead and fill out the information. And one thing to note, it can be a PO box. It doesn't have to be like an actual address. So if you're a solopreneur and you don't want to put your home address on your emails, you can go rent a PO box and then include that address on your emails. So we'll go ahead and do add address. And there we go. Our physical address is now available in our ActiveCampaign account. Up next, let's go ahead and set up our sending domain. So come in here, and we want to go to advanced right here. And then we need to go ahead and configure the sending domain. So click on configure domain, and we can enter our domain address right here and click on continue. And so ActiveCampaign is going to automatically help us connect our ActiveCampaign account to our domain. So let's go ahead and click on continue. So it's analyzing our domain, and I notice that my DNS settings are ran through SiteGround. So it's asking me to sign into my SiteGround account, and then it would go ahead and update my DNS settings in order to add the records that ActiveCampaign needs in order to send emails on my behalf. And if I want to see the records that they're adding, I can click this show added DNS records right here, and it'll show me the records that they're going to add to my domain right here. So that way I know what they're doing ahead of time. But I'm going to go ahead and log in. And there we go. Just like that, crazyeye.marketing is now configured. Now, changes typically take less than a few hours to go live. However, it can take upwards of 48 hours. Now, in my experience, it usually takes maximum an hour or so, but I wouldn't start worrying until past the 48-hour window. Now you can see that mine is already showing that it's authenticated and verified. So it looks like I am good to go. Let me come over here real quick and do recheck authentication just to make sure. And it's still saying everything is good to go. So my domain is already configured with the proper DKIM, DMARC, and SPF settings. And now I should be able to send emails from my ActiveCampaign account. Now let's come back over. So the next thing we might want to do is set up a custom domain. So right now my domain is crazyeye.activehosted.com, but I can go ahead and change it to one of my domain names as well. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do right now. So come on down here to domains. Maybe I want to change it to ac.crazyeye.marketing. And so in this case, I need to go ahead and create a CNAME record that points to my account URL. So this is my account URL, crazyeye.activehosted.com. And so I'm going to copy that. And then I need to go to where my DNS settings are configured, which in my case, it's SiteGround. So I'm going to come over to SiteGround. And so here I am in my DNS zone editor. And I want to go ahead and create a CNAME. And in this case, it's going to be the AC, and then it'll be .crazyeye.marketing. And then I want to change my cache to 5 minutes, and then resolves to that domain that ActiveCampaign gave me, so the crazyeye.activehosted.com. And I'll click on create. And then I'm going to come back to ActiveCampaign and do save settings. And similar to when I set up the sending domain, this process can also take a few hours, as you can see by this note right here. So note, it may take several hours or longer for your DNS settings to go live. But I'm going to go ahead and click on save settings, and then we'll try and test it out. So let's go ahead and test a new tab. So ac.marketing. Let's see if it loads up. And so it's not loading quite yet. So I haven't waited long enough in order for my domain to go live. Now, before I start building a whole bunch of stuff in ActiveCampaign, if I am going to be using a custom domain like this, I want to make sure that it is live and functioning before I start building things. Otherwise, some of my links and stuff could break. So I'm going to pause recording until my domain is live, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so it took about 15 minutes, but my custom domain has now been configured. As you can see up here, ac.crazyeye.marketing is now my domain. And I do have to go ahead and log in again, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And so there we go. I am all logged back in. Now, the next thing we want to do is go ahead and set up website tracking. So I'm assuming you have a website that you're going to be sending your subscribers to, and you want to track how they perform or engage with your website. So that's why we're going to set this up real quick. So coming on in here, we want to go to the websites area, and then we'll go into site tracking. And then we'll go ahead and enable site tracking. And the next thing you need to do is go ahead and whitelist your particular domain. So come on down here, and we can add our website URL. So it's crazyeye.marketing for me. And then there's an option here to include all website pages, or you can go ahead and use like a wildcard and only track certain pages if that's something you want to go ahead and do. But I want to include all website pages, and we'll click on add. And the next thing you need to go ahead and do is install this code into the footer of your site. So depending on how your website is built, editing your footer may or may not be complicated. Now I have a WordPress website that I'm going to be installing this code on. So in order for me to do it, I just go into my WordPress admin area, and I have a plugin called Pixel Your Site, which I highly recommend. It works great for Facebook ads as well as Google Analytics and other tracking platforms, but it also lets you add custom code to your header and footer. So in that case, I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to go to head and footer right here, and I want to make sure that I enable head and footer, and then I need to scroll on down to my footer area. And I'm going to go ahead and paste my code right here under any device because I want it to show on both desktop and mobile devices. And so there's my code just like that. And I can scroll on down and click on Save Settings. And now my website tracking code is installed on my WordPress website. And so I'm all happy with that. Let's come back to the guide. So those are the initial settings that I recommend setting up first: your physical address, your sending domain, a custom domain, and then get your website tracking installed. So that way everything is set up and in place before you start adding subscribers and growing your email list and all that type of stuff. All right, the next thing we need to do is go ahead and create an email list. And one important question you might want to ask yourself is, how many email lists do you need? And my rule of thumb is one list per business. And you can go ahead and organize people based off of their tags as well as their field data. Because what I found is that if you have multiple lists and then you have multiple tags, it can get very confusing and cumbersome. And you might lose track of how everything is connected. So if you're not sure what you're doing or how to approach it, my recommendation is to start with one list per business. And later on, once you get into ActiveCampaign and you start figuring out how it works, Maybe you need to add more lists, and that's fine. But when you're just getting started and you're not quite sure how to do it, my recommendation, one list and then organize everything with tags and fields. So let's go to ActiveCampaign and build our first list. So I'm going to come over to contacts right here, and then we'll go to lists. And we already have a list, the master contact list, but I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new list. So we'll come up here to the top right hand corner and add a list. And in this case, I'm going to do one list per business. So I'm going to name the list the name of my business. So I'll do Crazy Eye Marketing. And then a link to my website as well. And then a description of why they are on the list. And we can click on save. And just like that, we've created our list. Now, there might be some pages or settings you might want to change. So if you come all the way over to your list, and you click on advanced settings right down here, there are some settings you may want to adjust. So list owner, which is probably yourself, just the admin. If you want to resend last campaign to new contacts, you might want to turn that on. If you want to send copies of campaigns to yourself or somebody else, you could go ahead and do that. If you want to receive a notification every time you get a new subscriber, you could go ahead and add an email address right there. Same concept with unsubscribe. So every time somebody unsubscribes, if you want a notification, you could go ahead and add an email address. Then there's also public pages. So these are the pages that people will land on if they click on like a unsubscribe link in your email. This is the page that they'll be brought to. So this is what it would look like. So you have been unsubscribed. Would you like to let us know? And if you want to go ahead and customize the look and feel of this page, you could go ahead and customize it from this area right here. So it's just a WYSIWYG editor. You could click on edit, and then you could go ahead and change the text or add images or add your logo or whatever it might be that you want to go ahead and add. And as you can see, there are different tabs and options as well. So there's subscription update options. So there's a page for that. There's also forwarding to a friend, and there's also campaign archive pages that you might want to adjust. But I just wanted to quickly show you that there are different pages and how to go ahead and access them. So those are some of the advanced list settings. Now let's get into talking about contacts, because if you don't have any contacts, it's kind of hard to do email marketing automation. So come back over to your ActiveCampaign account, and let's go to contacts up here. And there's several ways to go ahead and add contacts. First and foremost, you could go ahead and import your contacts. So if you're coming from a different email marketing tool, like maybe you have Aweber or MailChimp or something like that, you could go ahead and import a CSV file. So I'm going to go ahead and import from file, and I'll navigate to my CSV file. And so once you upload your CSV file, you'll be able to map the different fields within your file. So for example, in my CSV file, I have these columns. I have first name, last name, email address, phone number, and eye color. And then I can go ahead and map it to the ActiveCampaign field. So first name, sounds good. Last name, email address, phone, and then eye color, it says do not import this field. And so I could hit this drop down right here, and I could select a field that I want to go ahead and integrate this eye color option with if I have something available. Or I could go ahead and create a new custom field if I want to. Or I could just, not import the eye color, because maybe eye color is not very important to this particular email list. And so I'm going to choose not to import this field. And then over here on the right hand side, you can see what values will be brought in. So Billy, that looks like a first name. Bob looks like a last name. That looks like an email address. That looks like a phone number. That looks like an eye color. And then we'll move on down here, and we can select what list we want to add them to. So I'm going to add them to my Crazy Eye Marketing list. I also have the option to add tags at the same time. So if I want to import these contacts with tags, I could go ahead and do that. And then there are even more import options. So I could import as an active contact or an unsubscribed contact or as an excluded email address. And then I can also go ahead and select to update existing contacts while importing. So if these contacts already exist in ActiveCampaign, well then any information that I upload will replace what is already in my ActiveCampaign account if I select this option. So be mindful if you're selecting this option. You'd also trigger webhooks, trigger automations. You can also create field options when importing new custom field values, and I'm not doing that in this video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that off. And once you're ready, you can hit the import button. And just like that, I've imported my contacts, so easy to do. Let's come back out to contacts. And you can also go ahead and manually add them one by one. So we can come up here to add a contact, and we'll just click on add. And I have similar options, so I could add them to different lists. So let's go ahead and add them to my Crazy Eye Marketing list. I could add them to a deal, or I could add tags to their account. And then there's advanced list options as well. So I want to keep them in active status. And I can select any of these options right here if they're relevant, but I'm going to go ahead and click on apply. And so there we go. Just like that, we have some subscribers in our ActiveCampaign account. And later on in the video, we're going to go ahead and talk about forms. So that way people can subscribe themselves to your ActiveCampaign account. So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes here. But let's go ahead and talk about tags real quick. So come back over here, and we can go into one of our contacts. So I'm going to open up Billy Bob. And so this is Billy Bob's profile, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So we have his general details right here. So his first name, and as you hover over it, you can see there's a pencil, so we could edit it. So maybe there's 2 Y's in Billy, and we could go ahead and add that Y and save changes. And there we go. Now Billy has 2 Y's in his name. We could update information. We could add his job title if we want to, and so on. So reasonably self-explanatory stuff. And then we get into tags and lists and automations. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. But first, we also have tasks. So you can add tasks to your contacts. So if you're actively managing your contacts and like you're scheduling meetings and things like that, you could go ahead and add tasks for them. And I have a whole other video on managing these profiles. So if you need more details, please check out my channel. But tasks can help you keep things organized. Additionally, you can add notes for these particular contacts, files for the contacts, and one-on-one emails with the contacts as well. So again, I have another video that goes into more detail on all this stuff, but I just wanted to quickly point it out while we're here. Now coming back up here, let's go ahead and talk about tags for a minute. So I have this little PowerPoint that I want to show you. So tag is basically just a piece of information you attach to one of your subscribers. Now a subscriber can have an unlimited number of tags. So this can be a good thing because it allows for maximum flexibility, but also it can become very overwhelming if you do not manage your tags well. So you really want to be mindful and diligent when you're tagging your subscribers. Now subscribers can have the same tags, so the tags are not unique to each subscriber. You can add and remove tags. So for example, you might add tags when people opt in or make a purchase or click a link or view a page or open an email or are in automations, or you might manually add and remove tags to your subscribers. And tags allow you to go ahead and segment your subscribers and trigger automations as well. And we're going to get into an example in just a minute here, but let's continue onward. But the main thing I want to point out in this video is that you need to make sure you have a plan for all your tags. And you probably want to go ahead and create a tracker. So create an Excel file where you list out all your tags and what the tags do. Otherwise, you can completely overwhelm yourself. Trust me, I have been there. And one strategy that I recommend is having different tag categories or naming conventions. So for example, anytime somebody purchases one of my products, I add a tag that starts with purchase and then it says the name of the product or service. Same concept with lead magnets. So I have LM and then the name of the lead magnet. And then interest, so maybe they're looking at a specific blog post and I want to take note of it and say, you know, they're interested in ActiveCampaign, or maybe they've looked at a product or service, or they're in a funnel, or I have an active tag when they're actively engaged and buying stuff, and then of course, you can go ahead and create your own. But the main concept is I recommend having different categories for your tags so that we can keep things nice and organized. Like when I first started with ActiveCampaign, I would just add tags based off of the name of the product. So my subscribers might have a tag called like ActiveCampaign course, and I wouldn't know if they've looked at it or purchased it or what it might be. So you want to make sure that your tags are very descriptive. So anyway, let's come back over to our account. And so this is where you can go ahead and manually add tags to your subscribers. So for example, let's say that I want to add the tag LM free sales funnels. So in this case, this subscriber now has a tag called LM free sales funnels, and this tag could be associated with an automation. So an automation could trigger based off this tag being added. Additionally, if I went to all my contacts, I could go ahead and sort them or filter them based off of their different tags. So I could come over to search contacts and advanced search right here, and then I could go ahead and look for tag exists and then LM free sales funnels, and then I could see all my subscribers that have the tag LM free sales funnels. So that's a little bit on tagging. We're going to do a little bit more on it when we get into the live examples with the automations and the forms. But before we get into that, I want to go ahead and talk about fields. So I'm still under contacts, and let's go ahead and look at fields real quick. So fields are unique to the subscriber. So, you know, first name, last name, email, phone, account, and job title. But you can go ahead and add custom fields as well. So let's go ahead and add a new field. And ActiveCampaign is giving us a little quiz. It's making sure that we want to add a field and not a tag. And so for my example, I'm creating a field that holds the date of the last time somebody opened or clicked a link in one of my emails. And so with that in mind, I can go ahead and answer these questions to see if I should be creating a field or a tag. Now, I know I should be creating a field, but we'll answer these questions just for the sake of example. So do you want this to appear within an email in order to personalize it? No, I don't. So is this unique contact info like name, date? Yep, that you might need to update. So yes. Does this info describe action, interest, or behavior like product purchase, web page visited, or survey completed? No. And we'll go continue. And so this looks like it would work best as a field. And yes, I agree with that. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one last engaged date. And I could go ahead and put it in a group. I'm going to leave it under general details though. And field type, I'm going to go ahead and select date right here. And we'll go ahead and click on add. So now all my contacts will have another field that says last engaged date. Let's come back to contacts real quick and open this up. And I can see last engaged date. So in a few minutes, we're going to create an automation that will automatically update this field with the last time that they click or open an email. And so you'll see how that works in just a second here. But let's come back out here. So we've now added our list and we've started managing some contacts. We've imported them. We've manually added them. We talked a little bit about tags. We talked about custom fields. Let's go ahead and talk about forms now. So this way people can fill out the form and subscribe to the email list on their own. So come back over here, and what we want to do is come on down to website, and we have the option for forms. We can go ahead and create a new form, and we can go ahead and name it. Now I'm going to name it the same name as the tag that I'm going to be adding to their profile. So I'm going to call it LM and then free sales funnels. So there's that LM free sales funnels tag. There's different form styles like inline form, floating bar, floating box, modal, and so on. And they're all configured similarly. It's just how they're displayed may change. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave inline form. And I have a whole other video that goes into more detail on forms. So if you're looking to build forms within ActiveCampaign, please check out that video, as I'm gonna be going pretty quick in this particular video. So anyway, we can assign our actions now. So subscribe to a list, and we wanna assign them to my Crazy Eye Marketing list, and then add an action. And I'm gonna go ahead and add a tag. And in this case, I'm going to do my LM free sales funnels tag right here. And we'll go ahead and click on create. And so here's my form builder, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So here's the form, and I can hover over it and I can click on it, and you can see on the right hand side, I can go ahead and make updates as well. Additionally, there are fields that I could go ahead and drag over. So if I want to collect phone number, I could go ahead and drag that option over there, and it will appear on my form just like that. I could also delete it if I want to. And so there's several different options for phone number, header, HTML code, images, CAPTCHA, list selector, subscribe, unsubscribe, and so on. There's also the custom field option. So if you've created custom fields, you'll see them down here. There's the option to update your styles. So you can do vertical fields, horizontal fields. We could go ahead and turn off the ActiveCampaign branding as well. So there we go. And you can make it look however you want, change the colors, etc. And then we get over to options as well. So we have on submit, we can show a thank you message, or we could go ahead and open a page if we want to. So maybe I want to link to something on my website. So let's go ahead and grab my sales funnel blueprints thank you. Let's go ahead and click on that. Let's go ahead and copy this and come back over to ActiveCampaign, and I'll paste it in there. And then we have our form actions again. So this is similar to when we were setting up the form. So if you wanted to change the list that you were subscribing them to, you could go ahead and do that here. Or you could update the tag or add additional actions as well. So if you messed it up when you were creating your form, you could go ahead and fix it now. Additionally, if you click on the subscribe to a list pencil, you'll notice an option right here. So there's an option for opt-in confirmation. And ActiveCampaign leaves this on by default. But what it'll do is when somebody fills out the form, it's going to send them an email that looks like this. And it's going to ask them to confirm their subscription before they're actually added to your ActiveCampaign account. And more than likely, you want to go ahead and turn that off. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that option off. But if for whatever reason you want to leave it on, by all means, go for it. And I covered more details in my forms video. So if you need more info, please watch that video. We'll go ahead and click on save. And I'm going to go ahead and update this form real quick. And once you're all happy with it, you can come up here to integrate. And so we have a couple different options. We can go ahead and embed it. There's a simple embed, which is what we're going to go ahead and do, which will let us embed the form on our website. You can also fully embed the form, which includes all the CSS and HTML code in order to generate the form. But there's also options to have a link. So you could send people a link directly to the form. So if you wanted to just link to your form, you could go ahead and do that and not have to embed it anywhere. But let's come back over here. There's also a WordPress plugin, so you could go ahead and do it with that. And also, if you want to go ahead and post your form to your Facebook page, you could do that as well. But we're doing a simple embed, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this real quick. And I'm going to go to my website. And I have a WordPress website with the default page builder, but maybe you have a different content management system or a different WordPress theme, but the concept remains the same. We're just trying to embed some HTML code on our website. So I'm going to go ahead and click on down here, this plus button, and I'm going to browse all. And I'm going to be looking for custom HTML right here. I'll go ahead and paste it in there. And then I can update my page, and then I could go ahead and view my page, and I should see my form. So there's my get free sales funnels, enter your contact info. So I can send you free sales funnels. There we go. My form looks like it's working. And if I fill it out, the person should be added to my ActiveCampaign account. So let's test it real quick and submit. And you can see that I brought them to my thank you page as well. So that seems to be working. Let's come back to ActiveCampaign though, and we'll go ahead and save and exit. And let's go ahead and look at contacts, and I should have a Nathan Funnels. So there's Nathan Funnels right there. And I can come in here. I see the first name, last name, email address, and we see the LM Free Sales Funnels tag has been added to his profile. He's been added to the Crazy Eye Marketing list, so everything looks like it's working correctly. However, of course, I have not set up any sort of automations at this point in time, so Nathan Funnels is not going to be receiving his lead magnet until I set up these automations. And we're going to get to this point, but first we need to talk about templates. So come back out here and let's go to campaigns real quick. And let's go ahead and talk about creating templates within ActiveCampaign, or using templates, or using the email designer, and so on. So let's go ahead and create our first template right here. And we can go ahead and use the email designer or custom HTML. If you're familiar with it, you can do it that way. We'll do the email designer and continue. And so ActiveCampaign has a bunch of different templates that you can go ahead and choose from already. They have these basic templates right here for things like a new blog post or subscription alert or say hello to a new customer or coupon code and so on. There's design templates as well that are prettier. They have pictures, they have colors, they have all that type of stuff going on. So you could go through here and preview them, and maybe you could use one as like a baseline or something like that. You can see what it looks like on a desktop device, on a mobile device, and so on. Or what we can do is just come back over here and just start from scratch. So we're going to do start from scratch, and this way I can show you the email designer and how it works. So this is the ActiveCampaign email designer, and it's pretty intuitive, but we'll walk through a few pieces of it together just so you can get the hang of it. So first things first, let's go ahead and rename our template. So come up here to the top left corner and save. And so over here in the middle, this is what our email will look like, and this is the designer essentially. On the right hand side, then we have different structures we can use. So these are like columns and rows. And then we have blocks, which contain things like images, text, buttons, spacers, videos, etc. And then we also have save modules. So if you create something that looks pretty and you want to save it so you can load it into future emails, you could go ahead and save it as modules. Additionally, there's global settings right here, and this is where I recommend starting. So come in here and update all your global settings. You can change your message width, you can change your default paddings, you can change your background colors, your font families, and all the different details like spacing and so on. And then there's sections you can go ahead and update, like your header, and you can change the font size, the link colors, etc. So come in here, update your global settings, make it match your brand and your business and all that type of stuff. And then you can come back to this content tab and start building your particular email. So how the emails are broken down is they're broken down into different sections, and then inside of sections they have containers, and then within containers they have the particular blocks. And I'm going to go ahead and delete everything out of here just so we can build it from scratch. So I'm just going to come over to the right and delete out that section and this section and this section, and we'll delete out this section as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete this container with the social media information. And there we go. We're basically starting from scratch now. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in a image. I'm going to add my logo up here. So I'll click on that, and then I can go ahead and add my file. So I'm going to go navigate to my logo, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my file, and then I'll go ahead and select image, and there we go, got my logo right there. Now if I click on my logo, you can see that some different options pop up over here. So I can go ahead and change my image path or rollover effect. I could go ahead and add a link to my logo, alternate text, alignment, and so on. So all pretty intuitive stuff, and you can just click around and figure out how to make your email look best for you and your business. I'm going to go ahead and add some padding on my logo. I'm going to add some padding on the bottom so that way everything's not all smushed together. I'm going to come back to the content area then, and we're going to add some text. Let's drag it and just drop it over here. So then I'm going to add some default text. And so there we go, some information right there. Additionally, let me go ahead and switch out there for a personalization tag. So at the top here, we can go ahead and do personalization tags. And I could go ahead and put their first name in there. So it'll automatically pull in my subscriber's first name when it sends the email. And so that's good. I'm happy with that. Up next, let's go ahead and add a spacer at the bottom. And I want to go ahead and also add an unsubscribe link as well. So that way people can go ahead and unsubscribe from the emails if they need to. So I'm going to delete out this text and do personalization tags. And we're going to do message and click this unsubscribe link option right there. And I'm actually going to go ahead and copy that, because this will actually generate the link. And I'm going to do unsubscribe, and we'll go ahead and add a link to it by clicking the link option. And so on the right hand side we have the option to add a link. We'll go ahead and paste in our link right there, and now we have an unsubscribe link. And let me go ahead and I'm going to center it as well. We'll center. And I also want to go ahead and add our address information. So come back into personalization tags. We have message, and then I wanted to go ahead and do list sender info, multiple lines. So we'll include that like that. So that personalization tag will bring in my address information. So that's how we have that added. And so this is a very basic looking template. And I do have another video that goes into greater detail on the email designer. So if you want more information, please check out that video. But I think you get the idea of how you can go about building emails. Now we can also go ahead and preview our email. So we can click on preview right here, and we can see what our email will look like on a desktop device as well as a mobile device. So it looks okay. We're going to escape out of here. And we can also send ourselves a test email. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And we'll go ahead and click on send. And that way we can make sure that everything looks correctly, like my address information shows up and all that type of stuff. So let me come to my email and So here I can see my email. So my logo is right there. I got the hey, and then it should say my first name right there, but it's not because this particular email address doesn't have a first name in my ActiveCampaign account. So if I came back into my ActiveCampaign account and added a first name to my nathan@crazyeye.marketing email address, well then my first name would be shown on the first line of my email. But then I can see the text and piece, and then I have an unsubscribe link, and then my physical mailing address as well is showing up in my email. So it looks like my template is working correctly. Let's come back out of here. And so I'm happy with it, and we'll do save and exit. And just like that, we have our first email template available to us. And of course, if I want to make changes to it, I could hover over it and click on edit, or I can click this gear icon and I could preview it, or I could go ahead and copy it. Maybe I want to use this as like a baseline email template because I've set up all my global settings and all that type of stuff. So I could go ahead and use it for that and then just make some different changes for different scenarios or whatever it might be. But that's how you can go ahead and create templates and how to use the email designer to create those templates. And finally, we're getting into the part that you're probably most excited about, which is the automations. So we're going to cover 3 different automations in this video. But of course, there's like 1,000,001 different things you can go ahead and automate within ActiveCampaign. So this is just the tip of the iceberg and a way to get started. So the first one we want to go ahead and do is a lead magnet delivery automation. And I have this link right here where I am sharing this automation with you. So you can go ahead and pull this automation into your ActiveCampaign account so you don't have to rebuild it from scratch. So let's come back out to our ActiveCampaign account. And in this case, we're going to come to automations, and we're going to go ahead and create an automation. And so ActiveCampaign has a whole bunch of different automation recipes. Now, most of the time, I'll start from scratch and build one, but you could also go ahead and look through what they have. So they have product interest tagging part 2, targeted follow-up, part 1 engagement tagging part 2, and so on. They have a whole bunch of different ideas. So if you're hurting for ideas or not quite understanding the capabilities of ActiveCampaign, I would recommend scanning through these recipes to see if there's anything that might be relevant to you and your business. But for my example in this video, I'm going to go ahead and import an automation, and I'm going to paste that URL right there and import. And so this is what my typical lead magnet delivery automation will look like. And we're going to go ahead and walk through it together. So first things first, I want to rename it to what I am actually offering. So this would be the free sales funnels. And then all automations start with the trigger. So this one comes preset when a tag is added. So we see tag, and then I'm going to change it to free sales funnels. So every time the tag LM free sales funnels is added to the profile, we're going to go ahead and trigger this automation. And we want it to run multiple times. So that way if the individual requests a lead magnet multiple times, they'll receive it every time that they ask for it. And we'll go ahead and click on Save Start. And just a quick overview of the automation builder. Also, it's very intuitive. So you can click Add Trigger, and you can see all the different triggers that are available within ActiveCampaign, like subscribing to a list or submitting a form, or if a tag is added or account field changes, or they make a purchase or date-based and so on. So there's a whole bunch of different triggers that you can use to create automations. And then we just flow on down the process. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is send them an email with the lead magnet inside of it. So we could go ahead and open up this email, and I'd go ahead and rename it to free sales funnels and email 1. And then we could go ahead and select to start with a template or use a past campaign. We'll do start with a template. And I'm going to go ahead and use the email designer and continue. And then I'm going to go ahead and select the template that we just created. So I have my Crazy Eye Marketing template right here. And then I can go ahead and select my from name and from email and subject line. So here's your free sales funnels and continue. And then I'd go ahead and say, hey, first name, click here to download your free sales funnels and, write your email content. But we'll go ahead and click on next. And I can go ahead and adjust my subject line, my pre-header, from name, tracking information, and so on. I cover all this in greater detail in my campaigns video, so if you want more information on this particular screen, please watch that video. But for the sake of this example, I'm just going to go ahead and click on finish, because it's all we need in order to send our email. So we'll do finish. And I want to make sure that this email goes out immediately because they just requested the lead magnet. So we'll do save. Alrighty, so the first email is going out immediately. Then we're going to go ahead and wait for 2 days. And then after those 2 days, we're going to check to see, so has the contact opened any email in the last 14 days, or have they clicked a link in any email in the last 14 days? And so basically, we're just making sure that they are an actively engaged subscriber. And if they are an actively engaged subscriber, we're going to go down this yes line right here. And if they're not an actively engaged subscriber, we're going to go down this no line. So let's go ahead and talk about this no line first. So no, they haven't opened an email or clicked a link in an email. So what we want to do is go ahead and send them a follow-up email saying something like, hey, a couple days ago, you requested this free lead magnet. It doesn't look like you opened the email or downloaded these sales funnels. So I just wanted to send you the link again. And so that's what the content of this second email would look like. And then we would move on down to wait another 2 days, and then we would do another check. So have they opened or clicked a link in the email? And if they haven't, we're going to put them over here, and they're just going to sit there and wait. And we can go ahead and do something with them later on if we want to, but for the sake of this example, we're just going to have them wait for 5 years. But maybe you want to go ahead and add a tag to them, like they requested a lead magnet but never downloaded it. So you could go ahead and filter these people however you desire. But let's say that they did open an email or click a link, in which case they'll come back up here to this yes line. And so now as part of this yes line, we want to go ahead and update these tags. And so over here, these are the people that have opened an email, clicked a link in an email, and so on. So we want to do some stuff with them. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and add a tag, delivered lead magnet, and then whatever the name of our lead magnet is. So I'm going to go ahead and change this out. So we have delivered LM free sales funnels. We'll click on save. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove a tag as well. So we're going to go ahead and remove LM free sales funnels. And the reason we're removing this tag is because we've now added the delivered one. And also, so that way up here, this automation is triggered when the tag LM free sales funnels is added to their profile. And so we need to go ahead and make sure we remove it, so that way it can be re-added again, so they could re-trigger this automation again. But since we have this delivered LM free sales funnels tag, then we know that they have received this particular lead magnet. And then finally, our final tag is going to be used to add them to another email automation, which is going to be one of our sales series. So let's click on this right here, and we'll call this Sales Series Sales Funnel Book. So we're going to be selling them a sales funnel book in this series. So we'll go ahead and click on save. And once you're all happy with your automation and everything, you can come up here and make sure you turn it active, because your automation will not work unless it is active. And so there we go. Our first automation is all set up and configured. Let's come back out to automations and come over here, and we're going to set up another automation for sales series. So let's go ahead and create an automation. And this one's a lot more simpler, but we're going to go ahead and import an automation, and we're going to grab our link right here, and we'll go ahead and paste it in there. And just like the previous automation, let's go ahead and rename this one. So sales series, and this is sales funnel book. So this is the product we're selling, the sales funnel book. We'll go ahead and click on save. And then we have tag sales series, and we want it to be sales funnel book right there. And we can run this automation once. We just want to try and sell them the book one time. And we'll do save start. And so then we're going to go ahead and send them 3 emails trying to sell them on the sales funnel book. So we have email 1, we go ahead and customize, wait 2 days, send email 2, wait 2 days, send email 3, wait 2 days. And then we get this goal option right here. So how this goal action works is if people meet a certain criteria, they're automatically skipped down to the goal, thus skipping over any emails. So for example, if they purchase the sales funnel book, so tag exists purchase. So in this case, it'll jump to this action when the goal conditions are met. So tag exists purchase sales funnel book. So when somebody goes and they buy the sales funnel book, the tag purchase sales funnel book will be added to their ActiveCampaign profile, which will make them jump down to this goal in our automation. And we have a couple other options. So when this goal is below contact's position, that's correct. And if the contact does not meet these goal conditions, continue anyway, or wait until conditions are met, or end this automation. In my case, I'm going to continue anyway. And we'll go ahead and click on save. And so there we go. We now have a goal action. And so now if somebody, reads email 1 right here trying to sell them on the sales funnel book and they buy it, well, then their ActiveCampaign profile will be updated with the purchase sales funnel book tag, which will make them jump down to this goal right here, and they won't receive emails 2 or 3. So that's how the goal action works. But after that, we'll wait another day, and then we can add another tag. And in this case, we're going to add one that says content, and then them to another automation that has a bunch of emails that have content in them in order to warm them up and all that type of stuff. And of course, you want to make sure that you turn this automation active. So come up here to the top right-hand corner and turn on active. And we can come back out to automations. So now we have 2 different automations. We have one that's going to deliver the lead magnet that they request. And also, assuming they open an email or click a link in the email, they'll also wind up receiving our sales series that tries to sell them the sales funnel book. And if they buy the sales funnel book, then they'll jump down to the goal of buying the sales funnel book. And I'm hoping some of this is making some sense. I know that I'm going kind of quick through these automations, but if you spend a couple minutes looking at them, they're pretty intuitive and easy to understand. Alrighty, we have one more automation I want to go ahead and add, and that's the last engaged automation. So this way, we can keep track of the last time somebody opened an email, clicked a link in the email, etc. And so we know if they're actively engaged with our email list, or maybe we want to go ahead and remove them because they're no longer opening our emails. So let's come back over here and we're going to create one new automation, and I'm going to go ahead and import an automation and paste that link in there and import. And now I have an automation wizard over here. Let's go ahead and click get started. So in this case, we want to go ahead and select the contact field to update, and we want to update that last engaged date. Do you remember when we set that up probably like 30 minutes ago? We set up the custom field with the last engaged date. We're going to be updating that field with this particular automation. So we want to make sure that it's updating it with the current time, and we'll click on next. And so here's our automation, and it's pretty simple. So we have contact reads any email. So any email, any list, and it runs every time that they do it. So that's a good one. If they click a link in any email, so any email, any list, multiple times, yep, that sounds good. Also, let's go ahead and add a trigger when they subscribe to a list. So that way, obviously, they're active when they first subscribe to a list, and we'll run this any list multiple times and add start. And we'll go ahead and turn that active. And so now anytime somebody does one of these 3 actions, it'll go ahead and update that last engaged date to the current time. And so with that, let's go ahead and test out everything we've set up so far. So let's go ahead and go to our form, which I have embedded on this website right here. So let's go ahead and test it out. Nathan Full. So I have Nathan Full right here. So Nathan plus full at crazymarketing.com. We'll go ahead and submit. It should bring me to my thank you page. All right, so that looks good. Let's come back over to ActiveCampaign, and let's come to our contacts real quick. And we should see some information going on in our profile. So we have Nathan Full right here. This looks all good. So here's our general details. We see the last engaged date, so that field updated when they subscribe to the list. We have the tag LM free sales funnel being added to their account. They're added to the Crazy Eye Marketing email list. And then we have the automations as well. So they're in the LM free sales funnels automation. So that's awesome. It should be delivering the free sales funnels to myself. And we also triggered the last engaged date automation as well, which updated our last engaged field. And if I come check my email, I come over here, I can see that I received my lead magnet. So there we go. Hey, Nathan, click here to download your free sales funnels. Peace, Nathan. And there's an unsubscribe link and everything else. So it looks like my form and my automations and everything is working out just fine. And I could go ahead and view how they're doing in it. So let's click on view real quick. I can see the automation was triggered. This email was sent. And now this particular subscriber is waiting for 2 days. When it'll go ahead and check to see if they've opened any email or clicked a link in any emails. And since I've opened the email, I should go down this yes slide. So I'm going to go ahead and click on skip this wait action and see if it'll go to the next step. So let's click this option, and we can see that it did bring me down the yes line. So it should have added the tag delivered LM free sales funnels, removed the LM free sales funnels, and then add the tag sales series sales funnel book. Now I didn't set up an automation for this particular tag. And so let's come back to my profile real quick and see what's going on now. And so I can see my tags have updated. So I now have delivered LM free sales funnels and then sales series sales funnel book. I can also see that I'm now in the sales series sales funnel book automation as well. And so there we go. It looks like everything is working. And I think that completes everything that I wanted to go ahead and cover in this video. Now, of course, there are some other helpful tools and resources that I have. So I have an ActiveCampaign playlist here on YouTube. So if you need more information or more details on anything covered in this video, please check out my playlist. As I know I went pretty quick through everything in this particular video. Additionally, I have information on email marketing strategy, i.e. the sales funnel book version 2.0. So right over here, there's a link to the Sales Funnel Book version 2.0. So it's a free PDF you could go ahead and download. I also have an audio and video version. I also have different email series templates. So I have a bunch of different sales series you could go ahead and use, or welcome series you could use, plus a whole bunch of different bonuses. Everything's all free. And I'm not trying to sell anything or anything like that. But if you do decide to get ActiveCampaign and go through my affiliate link, I would appreciate it. Otherwise, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, I appreciate any sorts of likes, comments, subscribes, and or check out crazyeyemarketing.com. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.